Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to discuss the MongoDB query. So I think I'm trying to during the weekend, I'm trying to reinstall my MongoDB server, but it's kind of failed. But anyway, so let me show you the, I do upload the instruction today. So if you go to the class lessons plan, I do have a MongoDB installation instruction. So this one instruction is for the older MongoDB version called 4.2.5. And actually, I also also try to download the most recent, but not the most recent, kind of close to the most recent one called MongoDB version 6.0.22. Okay, so I kind of installed that MongoDB 6.0.22. I think pretty much the steps are almost the same. So that's why I'm thinking you probably can follow this instruction, although this instruction is for MongoDB 4.2, but I think still working for the MongoDB 6.0.22. So I strongly encourage you to download it on your own computer. It's very lightweight. It won't corrupt your system. And so that you can practice with MongoDB. I think MongoDB is getting more and more popular. So knowing some MongoDB basics, I think is kind of a plus for your career. So that's why I strongly encourage you to download the MongoDB. So today, actually, I brought my laptop with me. I thought I'm going to use my laptop to teach. But then I realized that I won't be able to hook my laptop with the actual display. The reason, because I have to switch back and forth from lecture and the MongoDB system. So with a single computer, so hard, so inconvenient. So I'm thinking, because I thought I may have some solution here to hook up my computer with the actual monitor, but apparently it doesn't have anything that I can do. So that's kind of making me think about maybe this Thursday's class, I have to move to the online so that I can teach from home. So I'm able to, move I think I have two screens, so I'm able to smoothly move between the lecture and the MongoDB system. So today, I think still we have time. I think we can discuss some basic MongoDB query. I think it's very simple. So if you familiarize with SQL query, I think it should be very similar, but the syntax and the structure of the query, are very different, but the idea is very, very similar. So it means that when you retrieve a record, can be a document from the collection, you have to specify some field values so that only the documents satisfy those field values will be output. But in practice, we have documents has so many fields, so maybe not every field interests you. So that's why you can have projection list, more like select clause in SQL query. So you just list the fields that you want the values to be included in the input, in output. So that's kind of the basic idea of the Mongo query and SQL query, the similarities between the two, okay? And then I think then for the MongoDB query, it's pretty much always in the JSON format. So for example, here, DB is kind of keyword, then the users can be the collection. So basically, you will organize your documents into collection, okay? So every collection should have a unique name under the same database. Then .find, that's kind of operation to try to find documents in the collection. So in this case, actually, I think in practice or usually followed by this parentheses, we should have two sets of the curly braces. Let me see, where's mine? So the general stuff will be like db dot users dot find, okay? So and within this find, we have two sets of the curly braces, okay? So the first curly braces used to define the selection condition. So we specify the field values that a document must satisfy. the second curly brace is used to specify the fields whose values will be included in the result. Okay, so this kind of standard format for the find operator. So in this example, we only have the first curly braces, we don't have the second one. So that indicates all fields of the document will be included in the result. Okay. So for example, we have a collection like user showing on the left. Then within this curly braces, we try to specify the conditions on the age field. So we have age, that's field name, column. Then we have curly braces to specify the value. So since we use greater than, so that's why we have another JSON format. So this $GT is kind of comparison operator, indicate greater than, and the column value is 18. Okay. So finally, it basically means that it looks for the documents with age greater than 18. Okay, so then this parenthesis to close this find left parenthesis. Then dot. Then after we got all the documents satisfy this selection condition, we're going to sort those documents in the result. Okay. So the sorting key will be the age, and so you see that everything is defined in the JSON format. So the age column 1. So this one indicates ascending order. Okay. If you want to have the descending order, then you have to use -1 or negative 1. Okay. So this is how this looks like. So initially we have this user's collection. Then by selecting age greater than 18, we get this set of the documents. Then we're going to sort the documents by the age. So when we see the result will be the documents sorted by the age in ascending order. Okay, questions? Okay, so this is pretty simple, and this shows just comparison between the MongoDB query and the SQL query. So there can be some certain mapping, but the syntax are different. So if you want to do the SQL program, so we basically use the select clause, identify the field or attributes that we want to include in the result. Then from, we specify the table's name. Then the where clause, we specify the selection condition. Okay, limit 5 basically shows that only the top 5 will be shown in the result. Even if we have more than 5 tuples in the result, we only show the top 5. And here we have the MongoDB query, the same thing. Okay, and here you can hear that. In this case, we have the name, column 1 means that name is one field. We want to project name. We also want to project address. Okay, for the MongoDB, so by default, because every MongoDB does not have the collection, the documents in the collection do not have the primary key, but they do have the document ID that's unique. Okay, so by default, the MongoDB query will automatically include the document ID. Okay, so if you don't want to have the document ID, then you have to list in the projection list. You're going to use the document like underscore ID. That's the default field for the document ID. So underscore ID colon 0. So 0 means that do not include that field in the result. Okay. So I think this is pretty hard to read. Let me see if I'm having this file under my, so it's not finding. So this shows a BIOS collection that we are going to use. Okay, so the BIOS collection contains, I think, collection of the people who kind of really record the contribution in the fields, in the technical fields, and the words they have won. So we start with column ID and underscore ID. That's the document ID. Okay. Then the name field. So this name field actually is nested, means that under the name, it also has subfield first and last. Okay. Then the birth field, then death field, then the contributes. So for the contributes, after the column, we have these brackets. So these brackets indicate an array. Okay. So it means that in this case, means that contributes has an array of values. Okay, so but it doesn't specify how many values, but so it means that it can have as many values as possible in this array. Okay, then a word also followed by the column, we have these brackets that indicate a word is also an array, but in this time is an array of object or like JSON document, because each element or each object contains multiple fields: award, year, and by. Okay, so award means award name, which year that award is given, and by which organization or institution. So in this case, for this person, he won a couple awards. So for each award, we record award, year, and by. Okay, so this is a collection of the awards. So that's why these brackets indicate it has multiple objects. Okay, an array of objects. The next one, other documents we're going to use for learning purpose, for learning the Mongo query purpose, is the restaurant. Okay, so for this restaurant, it has URL field, ID field, address. So address, it has two fields, address and address line 2, and the name of the restaurant, and some kind of postcode. I think it's not from America, maybe from Canada, I guess. And then the rating, and then the type of food. So this restaurant contains a collection of restaurants. So for each restaurant, we record their URL, ID, address, name, some postcode, rating, and the type of food. Okay, so we're going to use these two Mongo collections to express or to explain the Mongo part. Okay, so let's see the fourth one. So let me see. Okay, I'm not sure if I get the. I try to remove the. Yeah. Okay, so for the first one, so example 1, basically find the document in the BIOS collection where the array field contains the element Unix. So in this case, this query is very simple. So we just db.bios. So that's the collection name, then .find, then parentheses. So within parentheses, we have to specify the selection condition enclosed in these curly braces. So contributes, colon, and then Unix, I think. I missed the double quotes. So basically, the charging values will be enclosed in the double quotes, okay? And for example, if you have multiple conditions, selection conditions, means that you not only specify the values on the contributes, you may specify the values for the words or for the name, okay? If that is the case, then you just simply cascading them within these curly braces. So you can't separate each condition separate or field value pair is separated by the comma. Okay, so that's the one that you can use. But one thing I wanted to let you know that, so if we list a condition within these curly braces, so then those conditions will be joined by the logic AND. Okay, so that's by default. That means that all the conditions must be true in order for a document to be included in the result. But if we want to connect some conditions in the logical or then we have to use or operator. So we're going to discuss later. Okay, here I just want to let you know the differences here. Okay, so maybe I can make it a little smaller. Then if you compare this one with the second one, is that this one basically just find the documents. It does not specify which field we want to include in the result. So by default, we want to output the whole document in the result. And the second example here, basically, we only list the first and the last names of the documents. So in this case, we use db.bios.find parentheses. Then within parentheses, we have two sets of the curly braces. The first set is here. simply define the selection condition, okay? Define the values on the certain fields. And the second curly braces actually specify the projection list. So, and also here you can hear that under the name field is kind of has subfields first and last. So basically we're going to use this dot notation to specify the subfield of a field, okay? For example, first and subfield of the name. So column 1 indicates name dot first will be included in the result. Name dot last column 1 means that will be included in the result. Then here the ID column 0, okay? So this indicates that we will not want to have that default ID included in the result, okay? Then finally we do the sort. So we sort based on the last name, and the -1 indicate by the last name on descending order, okay? So that shows how the result looks like. So it's a little bit ugly because it's in the command window environment, but that shows the name, first name, last name for the people who has contribution on the Unix, okay? So let's look at the next one. I think this is nothing, okay. So here we want to find the documents in files collection where the embedded document name contains a field first with value John and a field last with the value McCarthy. So basically it means that when we select documents, we have to specify the selection condition. So we're going to use DB BIOS. So I'm going to use okay. To save space, let me shrink it a little bit. Okay. Okay, then followed by the find, we're going to have parentheses. Then within the parentheses, we can have two sets of curly braces. So the first one specify the selection condition. The second one specify the what? Specify the projection condition. So I can pretty much break into the multi-line. Okay. So the first curly braces will specify the conditions. So conditions will be the name dot first. Okay. We have used the JSON format to specify the value. That's going to be the John. Okay. The second one, we want to make the last name. Name dot last column will be the McCarthy. Okay. So now we are done with selection condition. Then we need to output the result. So if we leave the second curly braces empty or blank, that means that we will include every field in the result. Okay. But if that's the case, we even can omit the the second curly braces. However, you can never omit the first curly braces because if you omit the first curly braces, you only have one curly braces in the front, then that condition, that curly braces will be automatically considered as a selection condition instead of projection list, you know. So that's why, but second curly braces, if it's empty, then you can do without. So that's kind of the things, okay? So this is basically shows that if you want to output the entire document, sorry. If not, for example, I only want to, I do have the projection list. I want to have the, maybe just the awards in it. So I just have one. Then usually I don't want to have the ID because ID does not tell anything. So we do the ID column 0, indicate that once we find the documents for the John McCarthy, I only want to output a awards field and without having the default ID field in the result. Okay. So this shows the result. Okay, so this result looks a little bit busy, but I think it's okay. It's basically if you want to make the result looks more kind of tidy, then you can use pretty command. So we can discuss later. Okay, I think this I would have just answered. So list only awards won by John McCarthy. So we have this one. Okay, so it's and this is how the if we want to generate the result like this one, we can use, I think the MongoDB has a GUI interface called Compass, if I remember correctly. So that GUI interface will pretty much give you the form that you can fill in the form to construct a Mongo query, and the result will look much better. Because results still in the JSON format, so we can format them much better in the GUI interface. So question number 4, list only the name field and the contribute field of the documents in the BL files collection. So here, you see that it does not specify any selection condition. It's only specify the projection condition or projection field. So that's why when we write this query, we can omit the selection, but we have to keep it the curly braces there to showing that in the curly braces we don't have anything. That means that all documents will be participate in the result. In the result. Okay, then the projection list we're going to specify the name. So for example, if name, then the 1 and contributes this field as 1, 2. Okay, so usually by default we don't want the ID. ID does not tell us anything, but also makes the output looks pretty messy. So usually we kind of silent the ID in the result. Then if you want to the result looks pretty and formatted, then you can use pretty this command to format the result. Okay. So this is how it looks like. Very busy, but I think after we discuss some examples, I think then I'm going to switch to my laptop. I think show you some results, but it's so hard for me to switch back and forth to the Blackboard. So that's the reason I will switch the class on Thursday to online, so that I can teach. Even I tried this morning at my office. I think my office display is very old. I need the HDMI to VGA and the adapter, but I don't have that. So that's why I won't be able to teach at my office either. Okay, the sort. So I think maybe when we query the relational database, we do have order by. So because the database we use, the sample database we use is very small. So usually we do not use order by clause because the result may be only output. Roughly around 10 or maybe less than 20 records. It's very easy for us to find the records that we're interested in. And also the records are structured. But for the MongoDB, the documents can have a lot of fields. Okay. So then if you query result in a lot of documents, it's so hard for you to find the one that really you're looking for. So that's why using the sort at least can help you. So we can sort the documents by the sorting key. Okay, so sorting key should be one or multiple or more fields of the documents. So when we sort, we have to specify the order. Either the sorting key column 1 indicate for ascending order, and the sorting key column -1 means the descending order. And here give you one example. So I hope it's make you really bit. Okay, so we have this collection. Okay, so this collection is very simple, has only one field, title, and except the ID. Okay, then if we want to find list the documents that by the title in the descending order, we can do the db.mycol, that's this collection name, dot find, parentheses, and first curly braces is blank, indicate no selection condition, means all documents will be included. Then the projection list, we have title column 1 and underscore ID column 0. That indicate we do not want the ID included in the result. Then dot sort. So here we have sort key is title field. Then the negative one indicate descending order. So then the result should be look like this way. So we first have the tutorial point overview. The title starts with T, then the NoSQL overview, title starts with N, and the MongoDB overview, title starts with M. Okay, so the descending order. Okay, let's look at the example number 5. List people who win Turing Award sorted by their last name. Okay, so in this case, so we need to, I think the hard part is not that hard. So we need to do the db.files.find. Okay, then we need to examine the, I think for the documents. So we have documents, and we see that awards is an array of objects. So in each object, it has a word field that specifies the detailed award name. So that means that we want to match the awards dot award, that field, to make sure that it matches the Turing Award. Okay. So the first curly braces, you see that, for example, awards dot award. Okay. Then will be the Turing Award. So the char string should be the case sensitive. Okay, so I think that's it. So then we want to once we get these results, we want to sort by their name. Okay, by their last name. So the sorting key is also the nested. So we should have name dot last. That's the field name. Then this time you want to have one that's in ascending order, or the descending order. Okay, so that's it. So this one is a little bit different from what I did because it's also kind of only list people's name. Okay, so for this one, I do not have this projection list. That means that all fields will be included in the result. Okay. Then the greater than operator. In the MongoDB, we do not use symbol as comparison operator. We actually use some kind of string. So $GT stands for greater than, and we also have $GT greater than or equal to. So $LT means less than, and $LTE means less than or equal to. So when we use this comparison operator, they also specified in the JSON format. Okay, so let's see that db.restaurant.find. So this time we use the restaurant collection, then parentheses, then curly braces rating. That's a one field name. Then colon. When we specify the rating, since we have to use greater than 4, so then curly braces, we're going to use the JSON format like greater than GT colon 4 to specify greater than 4. Okay, so this kind of the way how we use the comparison operator in the MongoDB. then pretty method. So this pretty method basically will format our MongoDB document. So they're going to put one field at a line. So instead of kind of connecting all the fields together. So let me I want to show you how the MongoDB looks like. So let me hook up my laptop. So that's why I don't like it, because once I hook up laptop, this time I'm going to try using the Firefox, because if I'm using the Google, then it will kick me out because showing that I'm in the live classroom already. So I'm not sure if for this one, even if I'm able to use the Firefox without tampering with current live session. So we will see. So I'm waiting for my computer to start. So let me move on to the next one. Okay, so this discussed the logic comparison, connecting the conditions using the logical AND or logical OR. Okay, so like I said in the beginning, that if we specify the multiple conditions within one curly braces, okay, so then those conditions are considered connected by the logic AND. For example, db.restaurants.find. So within the first curly braces, we have two conditions specified. The first one, type of food, is Thai, and the rating is greater than 5. So these two conditions, if we specify them within the same curly braces and separate by the comma, that means that we use logic AND to connect these two conditions. Okay, but if we want to use want to specify instead of using logical AND, we use logical OR. So it means that either it's serving Thai food or the rating is greater than 5, then we have to use this one. So they're still within the curly braces. So because for first curly braces is used to specify the selection condition, and then we have to specify this logical operator, the OR. So for the OR, we have to use $ and OR. So then column. Then you see we have these brackets. Why brackets? Because we may have multiple conditions. So these brackets indicate an array of conditions. So this array of conditions will be connected by the logical OR. Okay. So the first condition, each condition is still specified within a curly braces. Okay. So it's more like type of food, pizza, and then type of food, English, then we have these two curly braces to specify two conditions, and these two conditions are enclosed within these brackets that indicate we have a collection of conditions, and this collection of conditions are connected with logical OR. Okay, so in this case, you can have many curly braces you want, means you have many conditions you want, but if they all specified within these brackets that indicate all conditions will be connected by the logical OR. Okay, but you say, oh wait, I want this as OR, then I'm going to connect another condition as AND. Then because you see that these curly braces start here, so then you can have this. You can define some other conditions. Okay, so then the condition defined in this here basically will parallel to the condition defined here. Okay, so it's going to be connected by the logical AND. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Okay, let's see some in-class exercise. Let me see if I'm able to join to the blackboard using the Firefox different web browser. Hopefully, it allow me. So weird is seeing that I cannot log into the Blackboard using my laptop. So weird. Oh, I know it's not connecting to the internet. If I cannot simultaneously log into the Blackboard, then I want to stop the lessons now, and I want you to practice the in-class exercise by yourself in the remaining class. And then next class, we're going to discuss the solution for those ones, okay? So I think that will help you to review what we learned so far. And also, I think if you have time, okay, I think it does not allow me to log into the Blackboard because I have already logged into it. So I think now I want to stop as of now. So I think we have basic, we kind of go over the basic as MongoDB query. Then I want you to work on those in-class exercise at home, okay? Then I think we're going to discuss them in the next class. So the next class, we will move on to the virtual so that I'm able to show you how my MongoDB kind of running those queries, okay? So and also meanwhile, if you're able to, please download the MongoDB so you can practice with MongoDB query too, okay? Any questions from online student? I'm so sorry for this technical kind of limitation. So okay, so if you don't have any questions, so this is for you to practice after the class. Okay, so then meanwhile, please follow the instruction under the lessons plan for the MongoDB and then to install MongoDB on your computer. Okay. Okay, good. So if you don't have any questions, I want to stop here. Thank you.